up, my community? I'm so glad you're here. If it's your first time, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. All right, you guys. So today I am extremely excited. I know I say that all the time, but I actually am very, very excited today on this video. Of course, in the month of May, we are celebrating Mother's Day. And so I just wanted to take the month of May and dedicate it to talking mommyhood. And I wanted to start the conversation off with one of my best cousins. We are like right around the same age, and we both was living our best life. It's so funny because we typically have a lot of things happen around the same time, a lot in our life. And so for the first 35 years of our life, we were basically like the big cousin, the auntie, like living our bachelorette lives, just doing our thing. And the idea of mommyhood, I'll let my cousin speak, and she can concur or she can deny. But as time went on, you start to think like, oh, if this whole mommy situation is going to happen for me, like, I think I'm just going to be good living my good old life. And eventually, you know, as God would have it, life brought us to amazing partners who have been turned into our husbands. And we have children now. And I know for me, it is still crazy every single day when I look at that little girl and I'm like, she's actually mine. So I have one of my amazing guests, my cousin, the DJ, Miss Bianca O'Neal, or AKA EJ.
Hey, Cuzzo, how are you? Thank you so much for having me. I am excited just to talk and just to kind of, let your viewers know just a part of me. So thank you. It's such a blessing and an honor, and I greatly appreciate it. I really do.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're here with me, and I'm looking forward to fun conversations. So the first thing I would like for you to do is tell everybody who you are and who your son is and how old he is.
Okay. Well, first of all, my name is Bianca Benson O'Neal, and I am 36, about to be 37, which is crazy because this is my month, May month, hanging strong.
Birthday coming up.
I have a 10-month-old and 3-week son. His name is Brayson Benson O'Neal. And my goodness, I love every part of this little boy. He is an amazing blessing. My husband is Bryce, and we're having a good time. It's trial and error, but it's something else.
You got that right. I love little Bryce. It's hard to believe that he's 10 months. Like, he's going to be a year soon. Like, in 2 months.
Know. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. Actually, no. He'll be, let me see. He'll be 1 next month.
Yeah.
On the 15th. Yeah. On the 15th.
This is.
And it flies by. When they tell you that time flies by, it's true. And I have to think about it for myself because, even with me being us being the age that we are, I think I'm like, I still have the mentality of a 14-year-old. I'm still childish as all get out. But my mentality is like, oh my gosh, I have bills to pay. Oh my gosh, I have a son. Oh my gosh, I have a husband. I have a house. I'm an adult. And then I'm grown. And I look at my little kid and I'm like, he's going to go through that same process. And it's just an amazing circle of life. You know what I'm saying? Like it's amazing to watch. It's something else to watch, boy.
It is. And you know what? And it's so funny you say that because, again, that's why I was like, I wanted us to have this conversation because I still feel the same way. Like this past weekend, we went and hung out at my mom's, and my brother's 16 and 12-year-old, they were there. and my almost 2-year-old were there. And as I'm sitting in the front yard playing, watching them play and everything, and they messing around, I literally see my 12-year-old, my 16-year-old self, and I'm just looking like it was just so hard to believe. And I still one of our acquaintances from back in the day drove by, and I was like, honestly, I still feel the same age as when I was living at this house. Like,
Yep.
I still feel that way. And so, and it's so fun though, because then it's fun playing with Angel and like being able to live my little girl self back out again.
Yes,
you know?
yes. It's like you live out your childish dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And you get to do it all over again, because now I get to watch Heart Skippies again.
Right.
You know, and be able to legitimately watch them. Like, you know, it's not like weird.
And actually sit back and pay attention to, oh my gosh, like this really happened? You better go get that cat.
Yes. So it definitely makes it so crazy to think like, I was just thinking on my 37th birthday, because I turned 37 in April. And I was just thinking, Lord, had anyone told me, my 30-year-old self, my 31-year-old self, that I would be sitting here at 37 years old, married with a child, with a home, you know, all of these different things, it's like, wow, God, like really, I can only be so thankful. I just can be so grateful,
right.
You know, for that. So anyway.
Your support means the world to me. If you'd like to help me grow my channel, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, share my video, and keep smiling.
I want to jump into conversation about our journey to mommyhood, because I mean, we have lived life as little girls, you know, then to a teenager, then getting into adulthood, going throughout all of our things of adulting,
all the
good,
things,
bad, all the things, making all kinds of decisions and mistakes, and it all led up to though. And I think it's such a beautiful testimony that you don't have to live this perfect life for it to still lead to something amazing. Because I think about things that I did and think how the bachelorette life I was living. And somehow God still allowed it to all. Because sometimes people from the outside looking in, they may look at you like, oh, you know, she's, you know, goody two shoe, or she's, you know, this, and you're like, no.
You do not know my story.
Don't believe that. Don't believe that. You know, but I still see the grace of God and how He's brought us to this moment and to where He's brought us to here now. And so I think it's a blessing. So I wanted to ask you, when you transition from that place of being bachelor, then wife, and then finding out you were pregnant, were you shocked?
Okay, so first of all, when I found out I was pregnant, I went to the doctor for back pain. And I just had some back spasms. And, you know, we had just gotten back from a skate trip, so I automatically assumed I did some wrong splits. You know what I mean? And so I go to the doctor, and I'm sitting in there, and you know, they're like, you know, take a urinalysis, you know, you have to go to the restroom in a cup. And I'm like, okay, you know, take a couple shots. They took my blood, and 30 minutes they come back, and me and my husband are just sitting there, you know. And she says, ma'am, did you come in here for back pain or for prenatal concerns?
Say what?
Excuse me? Prenatal concerns. What does that mean? She said, well, you're 6 weeks. I said, 6 weeks what?
Oh my gosh.
She said, ma'am, you're 6 weeks pregnant. No, she said 6 weeks and 3 days. I said, what you added 3 days for? If I'm 6 weeks, then I'm almost 7. And that means either way, I'm going to have a baby in a few months. Yes. She said, well, yes, ma'am, that's what it seems. I said, oh, okay. So I was past surprised. But what I just found out is my husband actually knew. So you know how moms say them old remedies, and which was crazy. I had heard about a month ago, and I'm not sure if you remember, but my mom had came to North Carolina and visited Grandma Stell, and she was taking care of her in the hospital. And one of the things she said in the hospital was she had a dream about some fishes. And she was at the hospital
Mm-hmm.
when she said this. And this was probably about a month, a month or so into when me and Bryce were about to get married. And, I didn't think nothing about it. I said, well, it ain't me. And lo and behold, literally, I kid you not, 6 weeks, my Brayson was a honeymoon baby. And I'm not ashamed to admit he was a honeymoon unified baby boy. I was beyond shocked. But the first thing I honestly thought, dear, was, God, are you sure? Are you sure you ready for me to do this? Are you sure? Because that means I'm not taking on just someone else's kid. I'm taking on my kid, but a soul that you trusted me with. So you sure?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And 10 months and 3 weeks later, this is where we are.
And this is where we are, girl. You know what? I'm telling you, it is so crazy, BJ. Seriously. Because when I found out I was pregnant, guess what? I was 6 weeks.
Really?
6
Stop!
weeks too.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, girl. Sure hanging strong at 6 weeks.
Yes. I'm like, whoa. So when you found out you were pregnant and you finally, because I know we waited a little while to tell people so we could make sure we were healthy and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Two questions for you. What were some of the concerns that you had, in terms of all of the tests, because, they ask you for tests to see if the baby is going to have like autism or, any kind of defects or anything like that. What kind of concerns did you have as you were learning about these tests? And what was the craziest advice that someone gave you?
Okay, so you have to forgive me. I skate. I was very selfish. I said, okay, so am I gonna have to stop skating? Like, when do I have to stop skating? That was my first thing. I said, when can I not skate? And she was like, well, you can skate even up until you're about 7 months. She said, you can actually continue to stay active. And she said, but I really wouldn't advise you to strain yourself. And so that was my main concern. And I said, okay, I wanted to stay active because I knew so many mothers actually took care of themselves in the process of pregnancy. Mm-hmm. And I was such a stickler about that. And so that was one of my main things. So as for his health, my health concerns towards him, we have, some families have, things in their family that go on like diabetes and Down syndrome and, like you mentioned, autism. You know what's crazy? And I'll just get straight to the chase. My faith kept me a little bit strong regardless of the results. Now, of course, and this is actually to, compliment and praise any mother that has a child of special needs. Because when I tell you, baby, that's another task. That is a respected, highly rewarded task of being a mom. I said, okay, Lord, whatever the results may be, just help me, give me peace about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Give me the confidence and contentment with your will, regardless. And that was my perspective. Of course, everything came back fine, thankfully. I knew he'd be a healthy baby in Jesus' name. My biggest thing was I wanted to have him naturally. I was like, I want to do natural. And then I started watching all these YouTube videos and I said, I don't want to do natural. I don't want to do natural. I don't want to push. I want my feet in those stirrups. You know what I'm saying? Up in the air. Because this is exactly what it looked like. Your feet up in the air and you got like 1,900 people, looking down at that little hole. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, Lord, how are we going to do this? And I ended up having a C-section because he was breached. And honestly, one of my main concerns when he was breached was, will the umbilical cord wrap around his neck? Mm-hmm. And, I was a cornball. I researched everything. I love history. I love things like this. I love if this is a word, the naturality of birth or giving birth and being a mom. And so I researched all of that, found out that C-section was not as bad as expected. Mm-hmm. That went wonderfully. I think I almost coded once because I just fell asleep and I was so sedated. When they showed me Brayson, I was just like, girl, I can't tell you. All I can tell you is that I remember Bryce saying, they got him. He's here. And I do remember all the pressure and feeling all the things. And one of the craziest things that I remember hearing was, man, and this was on the operation table. on the operation table. So I was kind of coming out of my, medicine. I heard my doctor say, man, she must work out because she got some good abs. Okay, first of all, I'm still on operation
I
table
wish
and
they
all
would have
you
said that
see
about me.
is my abs. But and I look and I remember looking at Bryce. I mean, like, what they say? And he said, he kind of looked at me. He said, they said you have good abs, Bianca. And I said, wow. And he told them, we skate for a living. And here they're actually having a conversation. And I remember them saying, that's why she asked if she could skate, because she skates and he's going to be a skater and all these things. So I had a series of other things that mothers told me, but that was the funniest and craziest thing that I had ever heard on an operation table. So y'all looking at my abs, y'all pulling my son out, y'all see abs. So, I thought that was interesting. And then when I they pulled me back out, of course, out of the operation room into our room, and I saw bracing and things like that. I was just still completely out of it. But all I remember feeling was just a sense of warmth and peace. Like, just he's here. He's healthy. He's okay. And it was quiet for about an hour. Then my nurse bust in the room and she said, I'm a mom about 6 kids and my kids wasn't as pretty as yours coming out the womb.
Excuse me?
Thank you. I appreciate you for telling me that my child is so beautiful. So she said, we can't wait to give him his, we can't wait to circumcise him. He's a cutie.
Whoa. Oh, no.
So I looked at her and my husband, Bryce, looked at me like, what? She said, no. She said, it's not like that. She said, we see some ugly babies coming in here, but he is just a gorgeous jewel. And I couldn't laugh, but I was just thankful. I said, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate your compliments. I appreciate it. But along with that, I heard several other, advices. I had advice from all different types of people, and but one of the one that stuck to me the most, is just be thankful and embrace every moment. And you hear all these things about breastfeeding and what to do and what toys to buy and just the products and things like that. One of the things that I'm learning about motherhood is you learn to embrace every second. And that piece of advice stuck to me the most. And so even if it's just me putting him down to sleep or nursing him or feeding him some fruit or cleaning up his mess, I'm embracing those moments. My pastor preached about something a while back, and he said that when his kids were little, he used to hate the fingerprints on the windows and on the mirrors. And he said, with all 6 of his children, what happened was the older they got, the less amount of fingerprints were on the door. And he said now with them all being out of the house, he misses the fingerprints. And so I think about, the bottles being everywhere and the toys and the wipes and the diapers and all these things. And even with me thinking about Angel, almost being 2, I think about, when you went to the doctor to go see her, when you had to go feed her. When she took her first step and, you're like, y'all, family, she took her first step, embrace every second, every minute, every bit, just embrace time. And that was one of the reasons why I named my son Brayson. Now I know that's not what it means, but I named him Brayson because it was like, I felt like I need to embrace every minute. So that, that kind of stuck with me. So that was significant. That was a significant set of advice that I got.
I love that. And you are so right about embracing every minute. And even, one of the things I feel like I really have learned, with her is that patience and like the little things don't even matter because, like, for instance, I got upset one day because she took my mouse and she put it in the dog's water, in the dog's pail. And I'm like, but then I'm just like, you know what? Is it really that big of a deal? Like,
right.
just get another mouse. Like, it's not that big a deal.
It's minute.
It's minute, and like you said, all of these moments are going to pass and one day I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss it.
Yes.
And so I want to, even when it frustrates me, just still embrace it and find a reason to just laugh and just enjoy it, because she's not going to be this little girl forever.
Right.
And finding out, that she was going to have to come early because I developed preeclampsia, then I wanted to just make sure that she was going to be born and that she was going to have her lungs develop, that her heart would develop, that her brain would develop, that, all of those little things. And like you said, faith, I just thank God that he surrounds us with people that support us, and that my doctor that delivered her, I'm trying to remember her name because it was a very interesting name, but she was an angel. She literally, and we named our daughter Angel, but not because of her. But she literally was an angel, because I remember being when my blood pressures, it wouldn't stable. They just stabilized. It just kept rising. So finally she had to come and let me know, we've got to do it today. Today's the day. It was on a Wednesday, on July the 3rd. She wasn't due until August the 30th. But my doctor looked at me, and she was just so sweet and so just calm. And she was just like, you're going to be okay. She's going to be okay. And it's going to be all right. And I mean, just how calm and sweet she was, it just made me calm down, because I had never stayed the night at a hospital before. I had never been in an operating room or operating table. This is going to be my first big surgery, just like you said, having a C-section, but having her just speak so calmly and so confidently that everything was going to be okay. It was just such a blessing. And I remember the craziest thing I heard anybody tell me when I found out that I was pregnant. And again, I got pregnant out of wedlock. So of course that was already like a shock to so many people that knew me. It's like, Dia is
Dia.
Exactly. And this is why I say to people, like, please, you don't put anybody. I don't care how good.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
No,
Don't put a label on anybody.
Nobody. And so it was a shock. And so I remember this older gentleman that was a custodian at my job. And I mean, I swear he really legitimately thought he was giving me good advice. And he said to me, he was like, now I'm going to tell you what you want to do. You want to go ahead and get married before the baby comes. Now, don't worry about whether it works out or not, but you want to be married before the baby comes. And I'm like, wait, what? Don't worry whether it works out or not. So I just want to get married so that I can say I was married when the baby came. Well, I wasn't married when the baby was conceived. So what difference does it make at this point?
That's a new one for me. Lord have mercy. Yeah, that's a new one for me.
The piece of advice that stuck for me was my mother. And during that time, there were some situations going on with family stuff and all that. And I remember my mom, she said, Dia, whatever you feel, you're going to pass it on to your child. So you want to stay in peace, because you don't want your child to be born and be have anxiety or have be fearful or anything like that, because you allowed yourself to be up in emotional and all that kind of stuff because of certain things that are going on. So you protect your peace because you want to pass peace on to your daughter. And I was just like, when my mom told me that, the stuff that was going on, I was like, you know what? I can't worry about grown people. I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to make sure that my child is at peace. And I thank God for that piece of advice from my mom, because when my daughter was in the NICU for a month, and there were so many other children around crying, and that were really struggling, she was the most peaceful little baby in there. She was so peaceful. The whole month she was in there, she was just so peaceful. And they would tell us when we would go to see her, they said, she's just so peaceful. And I was like,
glory to God.
Yeah. Yes. So Now, the next question I wanted to ask you is, having Brayson now, what has being a mother at this point taught you about yourself and even your relationship with Bryce?
It has taught me how strong we really can be as women. I think, what was it, last month we celebrated women, and I think we should do that all the time.
Yes.
It showed me how capable I was of doing a whole lot. One of the big things that I learned, and I think we talked about it, was I never knocked breastfeeding, but I didn't never really, look too much into it. But when I would see women do it, I'm like, wow, it's something, I don't know if I'm ready for that. When you become a mom, it's like you get some type of adrenaline, some type of superhero powers, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Iron Man, all these gifts and talents that you feel like you can handle. I remember we were talking a while. I didn't think that I could handle nursing, and I've been 10 months strong, and that was a push. Just giving myself more credit. You know what I mean? We don't do that as women. We don't, we always sometimes need, affirmation, unfortunately, from each other, but sometimes we need it from our husbands. And what I've learned, to kind of combine the question, what I've learned with my relationship is, sometimes you need some just positive affirmations from each other. Iron sharpens iron. So of course, Bryce needs to give me, Bryce should be providing, positive feedback on, what I can do. And sometimes, just some positive encouragement. He would always say, honey, you're doing a good job. We had some issues about nursing and we went back and forth about that. He was just like, honey, I'm so glad that you've nursed, because, that has allowed the bond to be, between you and Brayson to grow. And it's allowed the bond between me and you to grow, because he's learned more about that as well. And so, like I said, just with becoming a mom, you just learn so much about yourself, and you learn how protective we are naturally. Like they say that women, we have that lioness, that cougar instinct, that animal instinct. Baby, you ain't lying, because from the time he comes out of your womb, from the time, your child is in your womb until they come out, you don't want anything to harm that baby. And even now, me and my friends, we talked about this a while back. She would always tell me that she didn't want to rush the pregnancy, because that was the only safety that she had, around her baby. And then once he was out the womb, it's just, he's, all you can do is what you can do. But I'm still protective over him, and I'm still going to be that Iron Man, that Iron Woman form that I can be. And it's also allowing me just to be a better wife, because you take on all the extra responsibilities, and, including being a wife, you learn how to be a mom and have the happy medium between being a mom and a wife and just a homemaker. So, I'm growing, and that strength is coming from, where it's coming from. That greater is he aspect. And so I'm learning that. And it's fun. I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time learning. It's hard. Don't get the game twisted, moms that want to be one. They need to put disclaimers in the Bible. I think the Lord should have talked about that. He should have, he talked about birth, but he didn't talk about the extra stuff. When they throw food in your face, when they bite your boob by accident, when they start getting their teeth, you know what I'm saying? Like when he's hungry, they need to tell you that. They don't tell you that. They tell you all the, and this, I ain't got time. And I ain't got time, and it's just, but I'm having such a good time, embracing every moment, the good and the bad. It's wonderful. It really is. I can honestly say it ain't nothing but God.
Yes. Like you were saying, just learning strength and learning patience. And one thing I learned about myself with having Angel was that, I always said before, way back when I would think about having children, when I thought, I would always say, oh, I hope I have twin boys. I hope I have twin boys so I can get it over with. And I was convinced God wasn't going to give me a girl. I'm like, I know God won't give me a girl, because I know I try to look a little decent when I get on these videos, but I am not a girly girl. I
Nope.
am not a
We
girly
don't
girl.
do that.
No. And I don't know much about doing hair. I don't know all these things. So I just knew that God would not give me a girl. Because I'm like, why? It doesn't make sense. He's not gonna do it. And he gave me a girl. And one of the things that I always say, I was like, I don't know how to do hair, but I have learned about myself that in the evenings when I give my daughter her bath and I go to do her hair, it is therapeutic for me. It is like literally like therapy. I sit there while she's bathing and watching her little cartoons, and I'm just combing her hair and I'm washing it, and but yeah, I learned that it was actually therapeutic for me. And one of the things I feel like I learned about Derek and I, and this is actually before we got married, and it actually helped me to see the type of marriage we would have. Because when I was in the hospital, the day that I went into the hospital, I actually was supposed to just be having a regular checkup. And when I went for my checkup, that's when they were like, nope, you're showing all the signs of preeclampsia. You need to go straight to the ER or triage. And so I was like, oh my God. He was literally in flight coming back from Ghana. So the day he gets back from Ghana is the day I go into the hospital. So when he gets off the flight, he has to come straight to the hospital. And I tell you that entire experience, because there was so much going on at one time. Here I am in the hospital. I thought I was going back home to my dog. I couldn't go back home to my dog, so somebody had to take care of the dog. He took care of the dog. We had to get insurance involved because, now I'm in the hospital. He was, helping, taking care of insurance. He was making sure when Angel finally came, he was the one running down to the NICU and I couldn't get down there. I mean, so many little things. And on top of all of it, while we had all these serious things going on, I mean, life changing, life, altering, life threatening situations going on. My blood pressure still going up and down even after having her. All the things that was going on, he was still in there making me laugh. Still up and down. I'm like, dude, what are you? Can you act like an adult here? But at the same time, he was taking care of so many things. And even when I got home and I didn't get the experience of breastfeeding because of all the things that went on with my body and having to get magnesium or whatever, all those things. But I did try to pump for a while. And I mean, having to clean the pump materials and all that kind of stuff. And him being right there at nighttime, cleaning those materials and doing all this stuff. It really showed me the type of partnership that we were going to be able to have as a married couple. And so, and it's just been a blessing. So I'm so grateful. I say that so much, but I'm only so grateful.
And I just feel like the Lord, when we put it out there, single moms, much respect.
Yes.
Much sincere respect, love, and praise to your life, to your heart, to your dedication. Regardless of the circumstance, it's all love from me. With me having a spouse, don't feel like that you're inadequate. Don't feel like you can't do it. Don't feel like you're not enough. I feel like, and even if anyone that's not spiritual or is spiritual watches this, I always cling to the fact that greater is He. And I say that all the time. I am capable of doing more than I give myself credit for. And that includes being a mom. So I would tell any mom, be it if you're single or not, if you're single and you're a mom, I feel like the Lord allowed it to take place so you could see how strong you really are. And whatever that child is supposed to do, he has a purpose or she has a purpose. As well as for mothers that are married, same thing. And I tell you, with Angel being 2 years old, it's a new journey. And my mom, tells me now, with me being 36, she's still learning. You never stop learning. Never stop learning.
That's right.
The best foundation is, in my opinion, how we are is a spiritual foundation. You train up a child. We were children that were trained up. Now we went through hell and high water saw some things, dealt with some things, and some of us, may have our parents still together or not, but regardless, we were all trained up. And I strongly feel like that if you want your child to be as peaceful, as generous, and as loving as you hope him to be, then like you said, start that from the beginning. Start that from the foundation of when you find out that you're going to be a mom. Say, I'm choosing to have hope. I'm choosing to have peace for my child, because regardless if I'm single, if I have a husband with me, my child is going to be a peaceful, blessed child.
Amen. Yes.
I'm capable of maintaining my child. I'm capable of keeping my child, full and happy and joyful and all the things that you want your child to be, as well as what you want to be. You are enough.
That's it.
You're a good woman. You're a virtuous woman. So keep that in mind, and as I'm saying this, I'm telling myself the same thing, because sometimes you'll go through some things with your kid and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't take this. Mine will be frazzled. But if you sit back, you got dishes going, clothes going, your baby's yelling, sit back, take about 3 seconds. Say, Lord, I just need you real quick. Can I do this? Yes, you can. Go wash them clothes, go feed that baby, and go do them dishes, and you can keep going.
Amen, girl. You better say that. And I want to piggyback with you in saying again, you are so right. Because when I had Angel, and just like you said, having a spouse, it can be difficult. I gained a huge, I had a respect for mothers and single mothers in general before.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
But being in this situation, I have said numerous of times when I was by myself, like, I have such a even greater level of respect for mothers who have had to do this on their own, because this is a big job.
It is. It's nonstop. Job. It's nonstop.
Yes. You can be sick. You can have got work. You can. I don't care what you got going on. This job never ends. And so I want to just piggyback with you and saying to single mothers who have had to do this on your own or without the help of a spouse with you, I love you. I love you so much, and I just want you to know that someone sees you.
Yeah, we see you.
And you are absolutely amazing. And I feel like I can have the confidence to be an amazing mother because I'm able to see someone like you do this thing. And I just want to say that we love you. We love you. Anything else you would like to tell the people?
Yay to the moms. Round of applause to the moms. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
every
Day.
Mom. Happy Mother's Day, cousin. Happy Mother's Day to all my wonderful cousin moms.
Yes.
We're doing a good job. As long as your child is breathing, as long as your child is healthy, has everything that he or she needs, we're doing a good job. And I say this over and over and over to all my moms. Keep going. You're doing it. You're a wonderful woman. You're doing a great job. So that's it, girl. That's all I can say.
I ain't gonna follow. I think that's amazing. And like you said, as long as they're breathing, I have literally told her pediatrician, I'm like, she's like, how are things going? I'm like, honestly, I'm impressed that she's living.
She's still
we're doing this. It's like a plant. Like, she's still alive.
She's still
we're
breathing.
Doing it.
She's pooping. She's pooping.
Exactly. We're doing it. You guys, I have had so much fun. I hope that you have enjoyed this conversation. And I just want to encourage you, mothers out there, as my cousin has said, you are enough. You're amazing. And we love you. And I want to encourage each and every one of you out there, if you have not done so already, I want you to stop, take a moment, find a reason to laugh, and keep smiling. Until next time, and always, stay blessed.